Welcome to this Price a Job tutorial. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to estimate by rooms or location. By default, when you add various modules to your estimate, they are organized by the categories here in the left-hand sidebar. In this case, we see substructure and finishes. However, when you have multiple modules added to the same category, it's not immediately clear which module applies to which room or location. This is easily solved by going to the bottom of the left sidebar and toggling the View by Locations checkbox here. Now all of our modules are instantly displayed in the various locations. In this example, we see the main floor with a kitchen and toilet, the upper floor with a master bedroom and bath, the garage with a parking area, and a new extension with a sunroom. But these are not assigned by magic, and it does take a bit of setting up first. So let's take a look at the steps involved to convert your estimate from appearing like this to this. To start with, we'll create a new project. We'll go up to the Project drop-down menu here, and in the Project pane, select Add Project, and we'll call this View by Locations, and save. And this opens a new blank project for us. But before we jump into building our rooms and other locations, we'll first look at creating and managing construction categories. To start, we'll add some foundation modules. We'll add a trench foundation, and a pad foundation. And you'll see that these automatically appear in a category titled Substructure. Let's create another foundation module. This time we'll add a strip foundation. But before we create this one, first we'll click this checkbox here to create a folder. And then Create. And you'll notice now that our strip foundation has been added to our substructure category, but held within a subcategory folder titled Foundation. So let's click the edit icon here to edit the title of this substructure subcategory, and we'll just call this Foundations, and enter. And each of these estimates still show £0, so let's go ahead and input a value for the length of these foundations. We'll say a foundation run of 6 meters for the trench foundation, as well as the strip foundation and the pad foundation. And that quickly fills in our estimate with a few details. Now to move the trench foundation module and the pad foundation module to the foundation folder, it's as simple as just clicking, dragging, and dropping. And now all of our foundation modules are included here in the Foundations subcategory within the Substructure category. Now if you forgot to click the checkbox when you created your folder, there's another way we can do this. For example, let's add an external wall, and we'll add a cavity wall here. And maybe we forgot to click the Create Folder option here. So we'll just go ahead and create without checking that box. And here we see cavity wall has been added to a new category called Structure, but currently has no data, so let's just input some area for this. We'll just say an area of 21 square meters for the outer skin, and same for the inner. And that gives our module some details to work with. Now to create a new subcategory folder here within the category, we can go to the Structure category here, and in the 3 dots beside the Structure category, click that to open the Category Options menu, and here we can click Add Folder. And then we'll give our subcategory folder a name. We'll just call this Walls, and save. And this creates a new subcategory folder, and then we can click our cavity wall module and drag that to our new subcategory folder. It appears as though our module has disappeared, but you'll notice by the icon here that this folder is simply closed, whereas this folder here has been opened, showing its contents beneath. So if we click on this folder here, it opens the folder and we can see the module contents. So let's add another module. We'll go back to our walls modules, and this time we'll add an internal wall, say brick, and create this module. And we'll give this module some area to work with, say 21 square meters. And now this brick wall module, to move it into our walls subcategory folder, all we have to do is click and drag. And you see that this movement was not successful. We can try that again, and again it was not successful. And the reason why is what we have to do is click and drag until the module turns red. And you see here that now it's blue, and now it's red. So if the module is highlighted in blue, it will not move. but if you drag it to the actual folder itself, it turns red, and then you can deposit this into the folder, and now the move has been successful. And this is a very convenient way of organizing your various modules. And if you need to move an entire subcategory folder from one category to another, you can simply do so by clicking the folder and dragging it to the desired category. And if you'd like to add another category, you can do so by simply going to the bottom of the left-hand pane here and selecting Add Category. And here you can give the new category a name. We'll call this one Finishes. And save. And this creates a new category. And perhaps within this category, we will select the Options menu and add a new folder. And we'll create a subcategory within the Finishes category called Floor Finishes. And save. And then we can drag any modules that we want to this new subcategory folder that we've created. Now, once you've built out your various module estimates, if you have similar modules to estimate, a quick way to reduce the amount of work is to simply click the three dots next to the folder and duplicate the entire folder. And this creates a new folder, in this case called Walls Copy, that duplicates the estimates within it. So let's click on the edit icon to rename this folder. Instead of calling it Walls Copy, we'll call this Garage Walls. And then we can edit the walls for the garage as appropriate. So we'll just adjust this to 17 square meters, inner and outer, and same with the brick wall. And if you only need to duplicate a specific module, you can click the three dots next to that specific module and select Duplicate there. And that duplicates the new module within the same folder. So here we could say brick wall left and brick wall right. And this even extends to the entire category. If you need to duplicate that, simply go to the three dots next to the category, select that, and you can duplicate the entire category. And you can see here the substructure copy has been added below it. The folders are all closed, so it looks much more compact, but we can expand these to see that this is in fact a complete duplicate of the original category. Now, if we did this in error and we simply don't need this extra category, we can again go to the three dots here and delete this category and confirm. Now, perhaps we'd like to rearrange these categories. For folders, we can do so just by grabbing the folder and moving it to where we want it. But for the categories themselves, say for example we want substructure to appear at the bottom, so to move this, what we do is we go down to the category buttons down here and we click the Edit Category button. And then here we can grab the drag handles for each of these categories and move it to wherever we want it. And you'll see here that the categories follow our instructions and move in the left-hand side pane as well. And while we're in this Edit Categories window, if we wish to retitle any of these categories, we can do so just by clicking on the title and renaming. And that is reflected immediately in the left-hand panel. And then we also have our various options to either add folders, duplicate the category, or delete the category. And if we wish to, we can also click the plus Add Category button here to add other new categories. And that's added to the left-hand side pane. And if we decide we don't need this category after all, we can just go back into the category options and delete that category that we just added. And that's removed from the left-hand side pane. When we're done making our edits, we can close this window. Now let's say in addition to our main quote that the client also wants to have some options priced in. Let's say in this example, some electrical. So to do that, we'll go to the modules here and we'll select electrics and select the electrics module. And let's create a subcategory folder for this and create. And now we see a new category for service has been added with a subcategory folder called electrics. And let's just quickly add some items to our electrics module here. Okay, and now we have an electrics module priced out. But as you can see, this £4,000 has been added to our total estimate. And we would like to leave this separate from our main estimate because the client isn't sure if they want to proceed with this or not yet. So to separate this module as an optional price estimate, we can just highlight the module itself and click the three dots for the module options menu. And then among the familiar options, including edit, duplicate, rename, and delete, we'll also see this menu item here for optional. So we'll go ahead and select that. And now if we compact our subcategories here a bit so we can see our full left pane, we can see that the electrics folder in our services category has now been emptied, is priced at £0, and our quote has reverted back to £24,000. But we have a new section in the left-hand pane here called Optionals. And here we see our services category with electrics fully priced out at £4,000. And if we take a quick look at our quotation here in the Reports tab, we can see here's our quote with our substructure. And at the very bottom we have Optionals. And if we select for pricing to show the grand total, we can see that the grand total is inserted here at £24,000, and then the optionals are separate. So you can use this function to give your customer an accurate price quote for the main job, as well as an estimate for any extras that they might wish to add on. You can either do this on request, or proactively offer some optionals as an opportunity to upsell the project. Okay, now as a builder, having the quote arranged by categories makes logical sense to us, but many of our clients might prefer to see the work estimated arranged by room or location. So to do that, we can simply click this checkbox here at the bottom left, View by Location. But you'll see that the problem that we have immediately is that all of our modules are assigned to a general location. We don't have any specific rooms or locations set up on this project yet. So now it's time to clean this up and assign our work to its various rooms and locations. To do that, let's click on the Locations tab here in the left-hand side pane and start by adding a location. We'll rename this first location Ground Floor, and then add another location. We'll call this Upper Floor, and we'll add one more location. We'll call this location Outbuildings. So this gives us 3 primary locations, and now for each of these we can add a variety of sublocations. So for the ground floor, let's add 2 or 3 of those. And we can type in the name of our location here, or we can just select it from the drop-down menu. So for example, for the ground floor, we'll definitely have a hall, and then a kitchen, and say perhaps a bathroom. Then for the upper floor, again, we can add 2 or 3 locations if we want, or as many as we need. And then here we will select a bedroom, and perhaps we will title this one instead Master Bedroom. And we can just type our title right into the field, and that overrides the optional titles. And then for the next one, we'll select Bedroom from the drop-down list, and we'll just amend that title to Bedroom 2. And then for the third location, we'll select a bathroom. And then for outbuildings, we can add a sublocation here and select from the drop-down list. Here we'll choose garage. And that gives us a few basic locations to choose from. And now PriceJob would like for us to input the dimensions of these various sublocations. So if we know the dimensions of our hall, we can set this here for the floor area. Perhaps we already know that the area of our hall is 20 square meters. And usually the ceiling area will be about the same. And if we know the perimeter, we can input that here. And PriceJob automatically uses a default height of 2.4 meters. But if this will be an exceptionally tall ceilinged hall, we can input that here and override that value. And PriceJob uses these values to calculate the wall's area. Now, if we haven't already pre-measured these various dimensions, PriceJob makes it easier. So for example, for kitchen, perhaps we haven't pre-measured our floor area and perimeter yet. So what we can do is just click on Edit Room and just input the length of our kitchen. Say this is 4 meters by a width of 3 meters. And press Calculate. And PriceJob automatically populates the fields for our floor and ceiling areas, perimeter, with the default height, and calculates the walls area. And let's do the same thing with our bathroom here. We'll just input a length of 3 meters and a width of 2 and calculate, and these fields are automatically populated. But what if we have a room that's irregularly shaped? In that case, instead of just inputting the length and width, what we can do is we can use the room editor function here. So if we click on room editor, this opens up a drawing of our room, and we can expand this sketch pane to full screen so we can see this better. We can use the center button on our mouse to click and drag this diagram so we can see it more clearly, and scroll out to see it better. And here we have a diagram of a basic rectangular room. We also have options here in the right hand stage to convert this to an L-shaped room, or perhaps a T-shaped room. And then here we can input our various dimensions. So to start with, we can click on the walls of our room and adjust the wall thickness, set by default to 300 millimeters. Let's change this to 240. And we see that the sketch automatically updates to reflect that change. As we make any changes, we can see at the top the area, perimeter, and walls area are displayed, and these values will automatically update as we make our adjustments. So for example, perhaps this wall, we might move this out to increase this wall by 1000 millimeters, as well as this wall by the same amount. And if we get any crooked angles here, we can just drag that to the approximate position. Press Job will automatically snap that to the right angle. And we could leave this section here as a closet, or if we have an irregular shaped room, we could take this corner and drag it outwards like this, and drag this corner to match, and lock that to a right angle. And as we make our adjustments, Price Job is automatically calculating the revised floor area, ceiling area, perimeter, and walls area as we go. And if we click our center mouse wheel, we can drag down to see all the adjustments also displayed here at the top. And when we're done making our adjustments, we can go back to the Locations tab. And here we can see all those same calculations have been automatically populated in our fields here. And we can go ahead and do the same for the rest of these rooms. We'll just be quick about this. We'll just add in some values here. We'll just say this bedroom is 3 by 3, and this bathroom is 3 by 2, and the garage is 6 by 4. There, and now our various locations have been filled out. But you may be thinking to yourself, this is fine for the floor area, but for the walls area, we might have some doors and windows to add. And if that's the case, then we can go back to Edit Room here. And again, this opens our sketch pane. And we can just refocus this. And then you'll notice here that we also have options to add windows or add doors. So let's start by adding a door. And as we move our cursor around on the sketch, it moves the door to snap to the nearest wall. So let's put our door here and click our mouse once to place the door. And then as we move our mouse around, it changes the opening of the door. So once we find the opening of the door that we want, then we can click again to fix the door swing. And if we have any other doors, we can add that as well. But for this room, we only need a single door. So we'll press Escape to close the door tool. Now, if we need to adjust the width of this door, we can zoom in here to see this more clearly. We can click on the door and then click on the arrows to adjust the door size to make it either narrower or wider. In this case, we want it to be fitting within the door frame, so let's just adjust this here so that it does fit. And if we want to slide this from side to side, we can use this center arrow here to grab the door and slide it about as needed. And now we can do the same thing with some windows. So let's go ahead and click the Windows tool. And again, as we hover our mouse around our sketch, we see that the window automatically snaps to the wall. So let's go ahead and place a window here, here, and here, as well as a couple here. And then when we're done placing windows, we can press the Escape button to close the Windows tool. And now to adjust any of these, it's the same as with the door. We can just click on that window, grab the sliders to move that window where we need it to be, and we can see that the dimensions are automatically displayed on the side here, so we have exact measurements. So this is a 700 millimeter offset from the top wall. And then we can use these arrows to adjust the width of our window. So we'll just decrease that down to 600 millimeters. And then for this one, we'll do the same thing. We'll do a 700 millimeter offset from the bottom wall. Decrease this window width down to 600 millimeters. And for this one, we will just adjust this one until we have an equal spacing between these windows. So that's now centered on this wall. And then same with these. Let's just offset this one by 800 millimeters and offset this one by 800 millimeters. And maybe we'll reduce the width of these to match the others. So these are also 600 millimeters width. And we'll just expand this one to be a bit of a larger picture window. There. Now, as we've been adding our door and our various windows, PriceJob has calculated the total area of these openings and deducted that from our total walls area. And we can see that here represented at the top, that we have an area, a perimeter, and a total walls area of 49.4 square meters, minus openings of 4.4 square meters, leaves us a walls area minus openings of 45 square meters. And now when we close the sketch pane, we can see that our fields have been updated here for a total walls area of 45 square meters, including the openings. And if we would like to rearrange the order of these in any way, we can just grab the drag handles here on the left-hand side and reorder these however we wish. And if we want to, we can even move these to a different location. Now if we go back to our Calculations tab, and we're sure that we have View by Locations selected here, instead of having all the modules arranged by category, when we select View by Locations, we see that our modules are arranged by location now. So we still have the general location with all of our modules, which have yet to be assigned, but now we have a ground floor category with subcategories for hall, kitchen, and bathroom, an upper floor category with subcategories for master bedroom, bedroom number 2, and bathroom, as well as a category for outbuildings, including the subcategory of garage. Now it's a simple matter of simply clicking the various modules and dragging them to their appropriate location. So we'll add this one to the hall, and this one to the kitchen, and this one to the bathroom. Another way of doing this is to select the appropriate module, click the 3 dots in the Options menu, and edit this module. And here we can see that this module is currently assigned to the general location, which is this top category. If we'd like to move this module from the general location to a different category, we can select here, and here we have all the locations that we already input. So for this cavity wall, let's assign this to the master bedroom. And close this. And let's do the same thing for this cavity wall. We'll edit this and move it from the general location, say to bedroom number 2. And you see as soon as we change that, it's automatically removed from this general location and moved to bedroom number 2. Even though the folder is closed, hiding the modules within it, we can see that the estimate amount has changed accordingly. So let's close this one. We'll do one more. Let's move the pad foundation. We'll edit this, and the pad foundation is 1,700 pounds. We'll move that from the general location to the garage. And there we see our garage has now been updated to 1,700 pounds, and the pad foundation has been removed from the general locations category. Now to assign these other ones, let's add a couple of more locations, and the quick way of doing that is just to click the Add Location button here on the bottom of the left-hand side pane. And that adds a new location here called Location 4. You just click the Edit icon here to edit this, and we will call this Extension. And then here we'll add a sublocation, and we will edit this and call this Sunroom. And then we'll take our strip foundation and drag this down to the Sunroom folder until it highlights in red, and then we can drop that in the folder. And now our sunroom has had the strip foundation added. Here if we open the garage folder, we can see the pad foundation. In the bedroom, we can see the cavity wall, another cavity wall. And let's take this last trench foundation and let's move this to options. So we'll click the 3 dots for this module and move that to optional. And it takes that module out of the main estimate and moves it to the optionals here at the bottom, along with electrics. And we can rearrange these if we want, just by dragging the order around. And if we wish to reorder the display of these, we can do so by clicking the Edit Locations button here. And just use the drag handles to move that wherever we need it to be. We can also retitle these locations, add sublocations, delete, or add more locations. If there's any of these sublocations that we need to duplicate, we can do so easily by clicking the three dots next to the sublocation and click Duplicate. And if we want to move that to a new location, we can just add a new location here. We'll call this one Front Extension. And then drag that folder to our new category. And if we decide that any of these were created in error, it's simple enough to remove these. Just click the three dots and click Delete to remove that location. And if you find as you're working on a room that you made any errors in the area, for example, it's simple enough to fix. Just go back to the Locations tab. And then for that room, just click on the Edit Room icon here and either adjust the length and width and calculate the new area, or open it up in the room editor and make the changes you need, including the addition of any windows and doors. As you make these changes, the walls minus openings area is automatically updated and adjusted here in your room's inventory. Now, if you're working on any of these modules and the client asks you to put certain sections of it on hold, you have the option of moving it to the optional field, or if you wish, you can leave it in the main location category. And instead what we can do is we can just hide this for now, which will prevent it from displaying in our invoice, but without actually deleting any of our work. And to do that, we can use the filters icon here in the top right of the left-hand side pane. So we click Filters, and here we see tabs for rounding, locations, and resources. So let's click on Locations. And then here we see on the upper floor, we have bedroom number 2. If we deselect this, it hides it from our invoice. So if we want to add that back in, just simply recheck it again. And we can see here's £4,500 added back into our invoice. If we remove that, it drops our invoice back down to £18,000. This way you can save your work in case they change their mind to have it added back in later on. Now, when we click on our Reports tab to view our quote, if we untoggle View by Location, we can see here's the quote arranged by substructure with our optionals at the bottom. But now when we click View by Location, we can see all of our various modules arranged by location. So now the client has an exact idea as to how much they're spending on the hall, how much they're spending in the kitchen, on the bath, on the master bedroom, their sunroom, and their garage. They see their full grand total, and then at the bottom they have their options that they can choose to add in if they wish. You can modify this quote by hiding descriptions, hiding resource subtotals, or showing as much or as little detail as you wish. And PrestaJob automatically updates your quote to show all the details that you care to show with your client. You also have the options to change the font, change the bullet style. Auto bullets are automatically use a check mark, but you can set this to circles, diamonds, squares, arrows, whatever you wish, even none. If you choose to, you can add notes here at the bottom. Just click the pencil icon to open the notes editor. And you can have a variety of templates saved here to instantly add to your invoice. You can even save a variety of templates and choose from those in the drop-down menu below. Up at the top, you can choose the title of this report, either a quote or an estimate, quotation, or proposal, and even choose to include or hide your logo, and choose the placement of that logo, whether you wish to have it on the left, right, or center. When you're done with a quote, you can choose to print it export it as a PDF, export it as a Word document, email it directly from within PriceAJob, or export it as an Excel spreadsheet. And this is exported as a comma-separated values spreadsheet. You can select either simple or advanced, and then you can select the various fields that you wish to have represented in your spreadsheet. When you're done, you can export that, and then it can be opened in your favorite spreadsheet app. And that's how to use the View by Rooms or Location function. Thank you for using PriceAJob.